Coach, I guess just talk a little bit about coming off that big Loyola win and what you need to do to keep it going against Bradley.
Wow. Well, the players, they're the ones that's got to keep it going. Today, our preparation on the floor, I think yesterday it started with our mental preparation for Bradley. But actions just speak louder than words, and our guys have to be locked in. And, the thing that I asked them was, pain of discipline or pain of regret? Discipline to do what you did again leading up to that game, or are you going to have the pain of regret because you choose not to do that? So we'll see what they choose.
And came from behind to beat them last. You only played them 2 weeks ago, so I mean, it's kind of weird that when your second game is when it's so fresh.
Yeah, I don't always like playing people twice before I play someone else once, but we're kind of in that situation with Bradley, and it's a big game for us because if we can get the result I'm sure the guys want, then we'll hold any tiebreaker. And the way our league's going right now, you don't know where you're going to finish or where someone else is going to finish. And, it's our next game, so that makes it a big game as well.
Yeah, the defend no matter what just kind of been the thing the past couple of days, especially with the sign and Josh video floating around online of him leading. Just it seems like the guys are they buying in more right now, or is this just?
Well, it's hard to tell. They were making shots the other night, so I don't know. We'll know the next time we're not making shots if they're buying in or not. But I'd rather make shots than not have to see if they're buying in. But we've always told them to defend no matter what. It's just, what's the no matter what, right? We were making shots the other night, so there's not a lot of no matter what going on. But I will say that I thought it was a good idea by our staff to put it on a sign, because this generation, I guess, supposedly they learn better if they see it. I learned better when I heard it, but I'm not playing, so. And if they don't learn better by seeing it, I guess my next option is make them feel it. So I don't know, but we'll see. I like the guys. I think they try hard, but they just let things get into their mind sometimes that don't need to be there, and defend no matter what needs to be in there.
And I'd assume that sign's here to stay right now, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would keep it here until Marty Prather makes us a better one. It's kind of office made, yeah.
Coach, is that weave offense here to stay too, or that you used?
Yeah, I mean that's actually a play. We just did some different things at the end of it, but we'll it depends on who we're playing, and Loyola, you can't guard them for extended periods of time. That's why we did that, but we could possibly do that. Bradley's a tough to defend too, because they got this all-league guard up front who can put some pressure on the D, and he can change the game. So if we feel like the best way to guard him is not let him get the ball, then we'll hold it a little longer.
Going back and watching film, or was it more of stuff you were doing? I mean, the shots were falling, but was it kind of a mix there?
I think, number one, we moved the ball more. Number two, we were where we were supposed to be on penetration, and keeping the floor space. And a couple of those shots were tough shots to make, and they didn't have a lot of energy because they never had the ball, so they didn't want to defend. I mean, not these kids. No team wants to defend, I guess, except Virginia. I mean, because they're like legendary at it without the ball going in the basket. So I think that played a little bit of a role. But they did not play their best game. But you can't worry about that now. Yeah.
Can I ask you a couple of questions about some of the guys we need to start?
Yeah.
The Wojcik guys. Let's talk about Shimon first. His injury. Talk a little bit about that and your thoughts on what he can do, heal up for next year.
That's been probably the only thing all year that has really frustrated me or made me sad was his injury, because we need him to get Valley minutes. That was like part of the deal this year for him, and unfortunately he can't, but we feel like he's going to come back better than what he left, but it's still a major injury. I mean, he's got a couple screws in his foot, and it's going to be 6 months before he's even back out there doing anything. So he has to have another surgery after the first 3 months to remove the screws, and then he gets stitched up a second time, and that's been hard. But you can't control that. You just got to kind of go with the flow on that. But he's an awesome kid.
And with Yann, I mean, he's been able to get a little bit more game time because of that situation, you think?
Yeah, I mean, his minutes have gone up a little bit, and like any typical freshman, his minutes have been up and down. And but he's made some tremendous strides since he's gotten here, and he's got a really bright future for us, especially in this league. I mean, you look around the league, everybody's got big physical post players, and by the time he's a second semester sophomore, junior, he's going to be a big physical post player too, and we'll hopefully have a lot of those guys floating around, and he'll definitely be one.
I'm going to say you kind of dream ahead toward senior season. You're like, wow, this is going to be awesome, right?
Well, I don't know about senior season because then you got to worry about replacing them.
Right.
I like to think more to their junior season. You get to enjoy them a couple of years. So.
Abdul, it's been just over a year now since he injured himself. Just wondering what his outlook is right now and how he's doing, really.
Well, I think he's doing good. I haven't heard. I know he's in class. I know he's still on scholarship. I would imagine he's doing fine. His grades first semester were not one of the alarming ones that came across my desk. So if your grades aren't across my desk, that means you're doing a good job, and seems to be doing okay the couple times I've seen him.
He's been around you guys, or?
Well, I mean, he's his teammate. He's still got teammates. Yeah, I know him and the twins are pretty close, and so yeah, he spends time in the locker room all the time. Yeah.
Do you guys even think about having him play for next year, or is that even
Yeah, we haven't even thought about that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to not win 2, lose 2, win 3, lose 5. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to win them all.
So healthy and everything, walking around fine?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about Lowe and Dixon, two guys that you inherited, senior leaders, starting guys, how their roles have changed, how they've kind of gone to you and have accepted you as the head coach?
No, they've been great. You know, it's hard when you get a new coach. They've accepted the challenge. You know, it's not easy. It's not what they signed up for, but they just kind of come in here and do their work every day. Ups and downs, you know. At the beginning of the year, Craig had a really bad injury that caused him to kind of get off to a slow start, but he kind of worked his way through that, showed some vast improvements from his previous 3 years. Now he's been in a little shooting slump, but when he's checked in mentally, our team's pretty good. And then JD started off great, and then, you know, kind of ended the non-league in a little bit of a slump. I benched him, took him out of the starting lineup. I called him out, and I rode him hard, and he just accepted it, and he's come back. He's been awesome. When he plays well, we typically win. And, you know, Dixon's the type of kid that we want here, kids that are hard-working and humble and just coachable, you know.
He's kind of accepted his role, and it's kind of changed a little bit since.
Yeah, because, you know, he's a combo guard, but the point guard position for us is a little more difficult than what he can actually do. But he still goes out there and tries and does it. He was really good the other night. And I think he'll continue to get better, you know. He's got a bright future in basketball, and he's going to graduate. All of them are going to graduate, you know. So they've been good. They've been good. It's been good.
You talked about Dixon. You called him out. Talk about a player being able to come back from something like that and being like, okay, like, I'm going to buy in, I'm going to lock myself in, and I'm going to get my minutes back, basically.
Yeah, you know.
What does that say about a player like that?
It just says that, number one, he's competitive. Number two, he's got some substance to him, you know. You know, it's like I tell our guys, if someone is trying to change you and it makes you better, then that's okay. If someone's trying to change you and it doesn't make you any better, then no one has the right to try to change you as a person. But if someone cares enough about you to change you, to make you better, then I think you should be receptive to that. That's just my opinion. That's what I tell my own son. And JD's the type of guy, if you sit him down and say, I think this is going to make you better, do this, he'll do it. And he's done that. And just, you know, I think these last 11 league games is his opportunity to hopefully go out with the bang.
What was that thing you told him to change?
Well, mentally, you know, to whom much is given, much is required, and you can't afford to have bad games. Like, that's just not an option. I mean, although you're a human being, but you can't say you want one thing and your actions say something else. So, you know, what I would tell my son, the verbiage I would use to him is, you know, you have to man up, right? You have to do what you say you want to do, and I think he's definitely tried harder to do that, and that's why he's having some success. Yeah.